Hey, crazy restaurant people. Today's video, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of employee incentive programs. Bonuses, basically. You're going to love this one. Hey everybody, Ryan Gromfin here, author, speaker, chef, restaurateur, founder of therestaurantboss.com, clickbacon.com, scalemyrestaurant.com, and author of Make It Happen. Either there or there, I don't know. Anyways, I want to welcome you to this week's video, and this is another user or member submitted question, which I love, and the question is basically about bonus programs, incentive programs. I get this question a lot, so let's create a place that we can send everybody to when they have questions about bonus programs. First thing I want to say about bonus programs or incentive programs is do it. They're great. One of the biggest challenges that we're having right now with staffing, with team members, with finding team members is that the younger generation today wants to be a part of something. They want ownership. They want to feel like they're part of something that matters. And so by offering incentive, by offering bonuses, by offering maybe some form of profit sharing, we can bring people into it a little more, give them reasons to work. So the thing is, I do love bonuses. I do love incentive programs, but here's a couple of buts. Here's a couple of don'ts. You can't just incentivize them on one area. Like, you can't just get as simple as, I want to lower food costs, so we're going to create a food cost bonus program. And here's one of the reasons why is we can lower your food costs. You bring me into your restaurant and you bonus me on food costs, I will get your food costs low. I will buy less quality ingredients. I will get stingy on portions. I will reuse product I shouldn't use. Now, I would never do that because I have higher standards than that, but I'm just saying there are ways that a good chef can lower your food costs, but at what cost? You're going to lose customers. You're going to get bad reviews. Your food quality is going to suffer. You may not see it at first, but it'll come later. So don't ever just bonus on food costs or labor costs. I'm going to share with you how I create a bonus and why I create that structure here in a second. Another don't is don't create a bonus or an incentive without a budget. Like, you can't just give them a piece of sales without having a sales budget. And then we're going to bonus them, or on profits, I should say. Then we'll bonus them on, did they outperform what's expected? Because if all they're doing is just sharing in it, whether they grow it or don't grow it, they're going to get a piece of it anyways. And then the other is, if they're just doing their job, if they're just doing what's expected of them and not more, then that's the job. That's what the salary is for. The idea of an incentive or a bonus is to outperform. Another big don't is making bonuses subjective. They should be measurable. So do make your bonus measurable, black and white. Your team members should know at any given moment in time what their bonus is. Maybe not daily, but at least monthly. If you're bonusing quarterly, or if you're bonusing monthly, if you're bonusing yearly, by the end of every month, they should know what their bonus was for that period, if they're getting it and what it was. It shouldn't be something that they're just waiting to the end of the year and then wondering if they got bonus or not. Or it's so subjective that the owner just decides not to bonus even though they feel they deserve it. So it has to be measurable. Now, I have created bonus programs for restaurants where like 80% is measurable and 20% is not. But generally speaking, make as much of your bonus program measurable. So those are some quick do's and don'ts. But here's the big one. Here's how I set up the general bonus program. I'm going to give you another kind of more creative idea and some suggestions around that. Generally speaking, we create bonus programs based on IFO, income from operations, or what we like to call it at the Restaurant Boss, RCP, restaurant controllable profit. It's the same thing. Just depends what you like to call it. Basically, this is the profit after the controllables. So after cost of goods sold, after labor, after direct operating expenses, you're left with some money. This is generally in the 30% range, obviously depending on how well the restaurant operates. Could be more or less. So if your restaurant did $1 million in sales, you're going to have a IFO, income from operations, of roughly 30% or $300,000. Again, those are just general numbers. Then we bonus based on that above budget. So again, I'm just using the example. If budget is 30% and then they come in at, your manager does such a great job that they come in at 32% on that $1 million in sales, that's an extra $20,000. That's $20,000 of extra controllable profit above what was budgeted for. Then you can do a profit share on that. So maybe it's a 50-50 split. Maybe it's a 70-30 split. Maybe it's a 60-40 split. I have also created waterfalls where it's like 80-20 for the first 2%, and then 60-40 or 70-30 for the next 2%, and then anything over 5% is 50-50. Because wow, if your team increased your controllable profits by 5% in a year, they deserve a big piece of that because they worked hard at it, assuming you set up your budget properly. And this is where the challenges come in. We're not going to talk today about how to do this, how to measure it. You should be using a program like ClickBacon, which would make something like this very easy for you to do. You can learn more at clickbacon.com. There's other methods to do this, but today is just more about the general theory of incentive programs, do's and don'ts. So that's the general program. Now, what I like about that is it includes everything except for the non-controllables. Non-controllables, like, is your owner paying for their cell phone through the business? Is your owner paying for vacations through the business? Is your owner buying cars through the business? Certain marketing things, certain discount programs, certain expenses that your owner or you might be incurring that the manager can't really change, right? That's not controllable. What the manager can control is scheduling, guest satisfaction, purchasing, maintenance, right? Under direct operating expenses, a lot of times we're going to include maintenance. We're going to include small wares and some equipment. So if we're not maintaining equipment well and it's breaking and we're having to buy it or we're having to repair it often, that's going to affect their profitability. If you need to paint a wall, maintenance, and you just call a painter to have them come in and paint the wall, maybe we could have had someone on our team do that. Maybe we could have gone to Home Depot and bought the paint and paid them for a couple hours of work to paint. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just throwing that out there. If a manager is incentivized on how well the food is going out, how satisfied your guests are, and then how they're controlling their expenses, that all factors into that. If we only do food costs or only do labor costs, we're ignoring other really important things. The last thing I wanted to add here, as we just kind of talk about generally incentive programs, do's and don'ts, is a more creative method that I've talked to some owners who are doing this, but in full disclosure, I have a rule here at the Restaurant Boss that I don't teach anything unless it is a proven strategy that I know will work well for you or for most restaurants. So I don't teach this method. I just want full disclosure because I haven't tested it personally with clients. I would love to test this. I think it's a great idea and I think it's going to work well. If you're doing something like this or if you want to do something like this, please reach out to me in the comments. I'd love to connect with you and talk about it more, either how you can do it in your restaurant and provide me some of that feedback so I know, or maybe you're already doing this and you can provide me feedback. But there are some restaurants out there that are looking at or doing daily budgeting with daily performance bonuses. So maybe it's weekly, maybe it's daily. It's actually easier daily than weekly because when I explain how this works, I think you'll see that. Let's assume that you budget, again, it's all based on budget. Let's assume that you budget your day to do $4,000 today. On Monday, you're going to do $4,000 in sales. Well, if you do $5,000 in sales, your team today worked harder than what we expected. We didn't bring in enough people for $5,000, so they worked harder. We maybe started running out of food because we only prepped for $4,000 and we did $5,000. So they really kicked it into gear to get that $5,000 of sales out. So maybe you carve out 5% of the difference or 10% of the difference to put into a bucket and then share it amongst the people on your team. What I love about this is they get the daily reward, the daily satisfaction for enhancing the guest experience, offering better drinks, making sure that we're getting those extra appetizers on the table, those extra desserts, because if they're increasing sales above budget, right, they're getting that daily bonus for that. They're feeling like they're a part of the team. They want to make sure their station is clean, the kitchen is fully prepped and everything. What I also love about this is I've talked to some people who use this as a performance improvement bonus as well, meaning if you come in late today, you can't participate in the bonus if there's a bonus. If you've failed to do a project that you were assigned to, you can't participate in the next week's bonuses for those 7 days or something like that. If someone no-call, no-shows, which if they no-call, no-show, they should be terminated from your restaurant instantly. But if they no-call, no-show, they might be suspended from daily bonuses for a week or for a month. Or if you're in your first 90 days because you're training, you can't participate in bonuses. So then that's the incentive to get fully trained. Or maybe it's 90 days, or when you pass all of these tests and you're fully trained, you can't participate in the bonus structure until then. So it gives a lot of instant gratification. And again, this is something I would love to implement. If I operated a restaurant right now today, this is exactly what I'd be doing in my restaurant, and I'd be able to give you the data, but I don't. I'm a full-time coach, a full-time consultant. I work with 20, 25 restaurants all over the world at any given time. And it's something that I'm getting close to getting some of my clients to want to do. They just haven't pulled the trigger on it. And as soon as they do, I'll give you an update. But if you're doing something like this, or if you want to, please let me know. I'd love to work with you and help you design this program and get the data and the feedback. So then I can come out and say, yes, do this. It works. And here's how you do it. I hope you enjoyed this week's content. I look forward to bringing you another great video just like it next week. If you haven't gotten your free copy of Make It Happen, our newest book, go to therestaurantboss.com/books. Get your free copy, and remember, systems create freedom, freedom creates value, value creates scale. Have an absolutely amazing day. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this week's training video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, would you go ahead and smash the like button right up there so you can get notified every week when we release a new free training video. I've also gone ahead and put a couple of videos for you here and here that I think you're going to enjoy. Remember, systems create freedom. Freedom creates value, and value creates scale. Manage systems, develop people, and be awesome.